Hi everyone, my name is Ian Cairns and I am super excited to be part of Somewhere Today. This is my first time vlogging or blogging, I don't do a lot of stuff on film, but I'd love to. So that's why I'm trying to kind of get myself into this. I grew up kind of a nerdy artist of sorts. Grew up out of a lot of artistic communities, especially out of Tacoma. But I also lived overseas a fair amount of my life. I lived in Lagos, Nigeria in the early 90s, as well as Hong Kong most recently. And over there I was studying, and part of me coming back and getting in touch with the creative community in the Puget Sound area is, it's a homecoming of sorts. Well, you know, I I've thought a lot about what I want to post for you guys. It's kind of a tumult in my head, just of the different stories that I usually tell, and kind of like my own experience right now as an artist, as a working artist. I'm currently self-employed, which is, of course, a scary thing. Not necessarily, I would love to think that it's freeing, and in some ways it is, but it's also, being your own boss. It's pulling yourself up from your bootstraps, and although I love some aspects of my entrepreneurial identity, lack of money is definitely one of them. So I've been trying to reach out to the creative community and just, put myself out there. Doing a lot of networking events and going to conventions, and just, I love every minute of that, and I want to do more of that in my life. One of the stories I thought about telling you guys today was kind of a simple story from my past. It's a bit funny, but I think you guys would get a kick out of it, and it would kind of give you an introduction into me. When I was a kid in Nigeria, my family went on vacation because we had a travel stipend. My parents are both educators. They teach generally kind of high school age kids, but they've taught locally at Tacoma Public Schools for many years, and they've also done a lot of teaching contracts overseas. When I say a lot, I don't mean a lot. Like, there's some people that just fill up their lives with teaching contracts, but my parents kind of did this back and forth, one foot in another country, and then kind of a home base at home. And I love them to death. They're just this amazing, inspirational couple that they actually teach together, even in some parts of their lives. They've taught as a team. And I owe a lot of my creativity and my thirst for knowledge from them, and I love them dearly. That kind of brings me to one thing before I go into the story. This is my 32nd birthday, so happy birthday to me. It was great. I got to meet up with a friend of mine, Abby, who also has her birthday today, and she's also involved in Blue Forge to some extent, and it was really great. We went and saw Super Troopers 2, and it was amazing, kind of like the first one, but we really had a good time. Went and had pizza afterwards. So I'm doing this now after this, having a great birthday, meeting with friends, and so here's the scenario. We took a safari to Kenya. I know this sounds kind of fantastical to a lot of people, but it actually happened. When I was about 7 years old, I went on safari to Kenya because my parents, working in this international school, were given a generous travel stipend, usually to go back to their country of origin, but when we've done that already in a certain year, or we've already, like, we, wanted to skip a year, we would go on these vacations. And it wasn't exactly all expenses paid, but it made it way more accessible for a couple of teachers. The very awesome thing was my parents spent that extra money trying to get us very awesome accommodations, places like Mount Kenya Safari Park and other resorts that I can't really name off the top of my head, but Mount Kenya Safari Park definitely took the cake for me. We had a little bungalow on the Serengeti there, and the park in general is free of predators. There's no real fear of any, like lions or anything like that, but what they did have is a bunch of omnivores and herbivores that are genuinely, not outright threats to humans, but they are, sometimes troublesome. In this case, it was me who was the troublesome one, because what I found shortly away from our cabin was a little baby monkey in a tree. And this baby monkey, he's like up there just kind of foraging or whatever. He is all alone, and I want to talk to this monkey because I'm a little 7-year-old kid. I remember I had, flip-flops on, shorts, a t-shirt, and a water bottle. And I started chattering at this monkey, and he jumps down from the tree, and I'm like, game on. So I give chase, and I'm frolicking along chasing this monkey until it hides away in this big hedge, almost like a laurel hedge, as I remember it. Big, broad leaves, but a really tall one, like almost 20 feet tall. He jumps into this thing, and of course I'm not gonna like fully follow inside because it's hard for me to get in there. But what happens is the whole hedge starts shaking. Just the branches and the leaves are just rustling, and I start stepping back and just kind of like, what? Looking up, and as monkeys just poured out, going boom, 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 jumping down. I'm running along, just trying to get out. But monkeys are like swarming me, and as I'm running, my flip-flop falls off, and then these monkeys, like, they start grabbing at my flip-flop, but I've got this plastic water bottle in my hand, so I'm just swinging it. I'm swinging it, trying to get these monkeys away from me, and I'm screaming absolutely bloody murder, trying to just yell them off. And they're paying no attention to me, but my dad heard me from, meters away. Just, he's in the campground, and he starts running towards me, yelling at the top of his lungs. And I swear to God, I have the image in my head of all these monkeys just going and looking at my dad way off in the distance. They turned and ran back into that hedge, and my dad picked me up, tossed me on his shoulder, started cursing. Oh, fuck, God damn it, God damn it. And, that was, I think, one of the first times my life ever got saved by the crazy world that we live in. So, yeah. I thought that might be a good first vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'd love to tell you guys more stories about Africa, or even Hong Kong, where I've spent my time most recently. I'm an interactive designer and artist, and I'd just love to, talk to you all and reach out to you guys, and and be part of this community. So, like, subscribe, give your comments. I'll read them. I promise. Scout's honor. I don't know. My dad was a scout, I wasn't. But, yeah. Thanks for spending my 32nd birthday with me.